Hey guys, Jim Treadway from GrowthWise here, and I want to thank you for trusting us in this test prep process with going after the SAT and ACT. Obviously, we know that just about everybody hates the SAT and ACT except for test prep companies, and we get it. You know, reducing your teenager down to a number, huge source of stress and a big drain of time and finances, especially when you don't get the score that you want in the end. It makes sense. And yet here you are still signing up to take the test. And it's probably because on some level, you get that as imperfect as it is, it still has value. And the value is a good score is hard to get. And colleges know that, especially during the time of COVID. Grade inflation is like we've never seen before. It was high even before COVID. You know, what an A- is today might have been a C or a D back in the 70s. And colleges know that. They're also inundated with teacher recommendations, filled with platitudes, and it's hard to know what's genuine and what's true. And you know, you look at extracurriculars, you know, the first violin at one high school might be the 7th violin at another school where there's a lot more musical talent. And how are colleges to know the difference between all these schools? So there's less and less objective information for them to look at. It's more and more subjective. And when colleges, no matter what they say to try to seem progressive and at the cutting edge in talking about how test optional their policies are, when colleges are looking at your teenager who has a great score and another kid who doesn't have a score, all things being equal, who do you think they're gonna take? A good score is hard to get because it takes a lot of intelligence. It takes all these acquired academic skills of math and reading and grammar over the years of their entire education, but it also takes persistence. It's hard to go after one of these tests and learn the skills you need to learn and keep fighting and trying, even while you're still getting scores that you're frustrated with and aren't yet at the top of your ability. A lot of kids don't have those qualities of character. And guess what? All of these ingredients are what create success in life and on campus and college, and colleges know that. So we are here not just to give your kids the best test taking techniques they can find, but also to build up those skills of perseverance, of holding yourself to a really high level week in and week out, of, you know, how do you coach yourself and how do you talk to yourself through the whole process so you remain encouraged and inspired and courageous enough to try again and smart enough to take the learnings from the frustrating experiences and apply them the next time going forward and keep getting up and trying again, keep getting up, trying again. That's what we aim to do through our tutoring. It's what leads to the best scores in our experience. And as parents, you play a key role in this whole process, which I'll lay out real quickly. Number one, if you have thoughts or ideas about how we could be teaching your kids even better, please let us know, reach out to us. Like the number of times that I've had parents give me a different idea for how to teach their kid and I had not even come close to thinking of it, it's many and it's embarrassing for me for a half second. And then I'm so grateful because the ideas can be fantastic and then I end up teaching their kid better as a result. So, you know, or if you notice something's going on in your kid's life that your teen is probably not going to volunteer in a session. Maybe they're going through a breakup, or they're not getting playing time in the sport they love so much, or maybe they've got a ton of midterms one week, or actually maybe only one final. Let us know these things if you can, because it helps us calibrate to them emotionally. Sometimes we can even pepper in a couple well chosen words of support for them based on what they're going through without even having to talk about the subject. Sometimes, you know, when they've got a lot less going on than they've told us, we can actually give them a little more homework and make more progress. All of this happens because of that back channel communication from the parents. And so if you send a call or a text, or many of them, it doesn't make you a helicopter parent. It just makes us a better informed tutor. And another thing to add is, as much as you can, support a positive narrative around the test at home. You know, remind your kids why we're doing this so that they can have the best options as possible when they apply to colleges. Remind them of all the skills they're learning in the process. You know, the character skills of perseverance and taking your learnings from frustrating results and having the courage to get up and try again and holding yourself accountable to a really high standard of practice and attention week in and week out. These are all life skills that they're going to take with them so far beyond this test, and they get to really work on it with us through this test prep process. Sometimes by being home every day, every week, you can be a presence that just reminds them to get the work done, or, you know, just reminds them to hold themselves to a high standard. And you can also be an encouraging presence that shows them, hey, don't compare yourself to the kid, that supposedly exists at every high school who got a 35 on the ACT without studying. Compare yourself to who you were a week ago, a month ago, 2 months ago. And as you as you train them to compare themselves to who they were before and put their attention on the learnings and the progress, you're just creating great habits for how they're going to go after things later in life. And guess what? It leads to a better score on the SAT and ACT. So in all these ways, you can support the process. We need your help. Thanks for joining us, and we're looking forward to getting to know you.